Hello, my name is Jay and welcome back to my Tech Vault, and today we're going to be taking a look at unboxing, reviewing, and going over the Ryzen 7 2700X. We're going to also go over the cooler, kind of give that a thorough review, and basically give my overall opinions, thoughts, etc. on this. Obviously this is a bit of a late video because this processor came out almost a couple months ago, but I think it's definitely worth it, and it's definitely an interesting thing, especially since I have hands-on with the hardware. I might as well use it. So let's get into the video. So right here, we've got a Ryzen 2700X, and honestly, this is, a lot of people will be like, why do you do these unboxings? And well, first off, it's good for people to, I don't know, for example, I gotta find some scissors, give me a sec. But it's good for people to see that, what's inside of a box before they get into it, especially when you have chances of damaging hardware, especially with like CPUs that have pins, for example. You really want to be careful. So here we are. Here's a look at what we got. So we've got the CPU itself, which is in the typical Ryzen box. It looks relatively good, no issues. I don't know. I see a little bit of scratch there, but that might just be because that might be that's on the plastic. Okay, so that's the plastic box, and if you guys want, I'll take it out because we still got another little casing. One of the things to keep an eye out when you're doing these, when you're first opening up your thing, is of course inspect for any dent pins or bent pins. Obviously, not everything looks perfectly fine there. Don't see any issues. So I'll just leave that in there. Less worries to have, and I'm not going to just even try with that. You don't want to take that out, especially when you're not going to put it directly into the socket, because there's a lot of bad things that can happen. So there's that. I'll put that up there. Now the really interesting thing I wanted to showcase though is this cooler. Now I believe that this has pre-applied thermal paste. In the past though, I've messed it up, so I've had to apply my own. So it's not a big deal. Okay, here we are. So let's take off this top here. So the cooler itself looks really nice, and actually I'm going to put this back on, flip this over, and then we'll go from there. So that way I can hopefully try saving the pre-applied thermal paste. So here we are. We've got, they put that on there pretty good, so I shouldn't have any problems. So I'm not going to take off the pre-applied this little plastic on the bottom, but you get the idea. Clear fan, actually a pretty solid clear fan. AMD actually did a good job on the stock cooler, which is kind of what I knew from a lot of the reviews online, but I rather like to kind of see this stuff in person. Actually, plastic is surprisingly sturdy. For a stock cooler, this is by far, I've got to say, my favorite, especially since this ring of RGB is supposedly on here. The fan itself, as I said, pretty solid. The metal and heatsink is actually surprisingly kind of heavy, which is good and promising. The thermal paste application looks pretty good as well. I see maybe, I don't know, it looks like it's almost painted on there. So the stock cooler for the Ryzen 2600 had, of course, like rather a, I don't know, it looked like it was like manually or machine punched or stamped, but this looks like it's been painted on. I don't know. That's, as I said, I'm gonna probably end up taking this off because I don't know what they did for their stock paste. I really have a bad distaste for companies that pre-apply or leave their thermal paste on there. Had some bad situations in the past. Okay, so here we are. We've got some stuff that we've got a USB controller. We've got an adapter. We've got a long list of stuff. Oh, okay. So we've got an adapter. This goes in the side, I believe, of. Yep, so we've got lots of different options. Okay, so this cooler actually, as I said, AMD did a good job on this. I'm not going to deny it. Clearly some effort was put in to make sure that this cooler did its job properly. So we've got ourselves a 4-pin to the USB controller, or sorry, not to USB. 4 little pins over here that go to the standard RGB lighting. But honestly, as I said, this looks really good. It looks like it's got some switch to control how fast it's going, maybe. As I said, I'll have to worry about that more when I get to actual build with this. As for mounting mechanism, it looks like maybe they've finally got some easy mounting mechanism. Besides that, everything, no noticeable problems. So that's going to pretty much be the unboxing of the AMD Ryzen 2700X and the, I believe, I think I don't even know the name of this cooler. I think it's the Wraith Max, if I believe. But that's been the unboxing. We've got 2 different cables. I'll probably only end up using one though. Flip this back over. But honestly, AMD really has done a good job with their coolers. I hope for the next generation they do the same, because it was a really good deal. And especially because this is all wrapped too. This is extremely nice. This is like something you'd pay like $20 or $40 for something similar from I don't know, a typical brand. Anyway, but thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, give the video a thumbs up, and as I said, check out the video where we build this. It will be a full video that we'll be doing this on, so if you're interested in that kind of stuff, make sure you check it out. So I build computers for people. That's how I get hands-on with this hardware. A lot of people ask how I have the money to do this. I don't, but I've turned it into a business so that I make money from it. I get hands-on with the hardware, and then I don't have to necessarily pay for it. So pretty much how this processor kind of sees, or how I see it in my mind, is that it's a really substantially it's probably the best workstation processor for the desktop market. The cooler itself is the best stock cooler the best stock cooler ever that I've ever built with. Stock cooler is by far my favorite, even arguably better than some of the coolers that I've had previously with different processors. So by far it's a really, really good cooler, no issues there, and it's definitely a good value. The processor itself, of course, does what it's supposed to. It's got a lot of high clock speeds, good for gaming, good overall around for video editing. So basically, as I said, as well, a good system, a good processor for that as well. And I did build with it in the system over here, which is of course a build video on my channel. It's the 4,000 subscriber special, so if you want to check that out, make sure you do that. And as always, thank you guys very much for watching. Check my channel for other cool tech related news, reviews, builds, videos, etc. And as always, goodbye.